G'day. Welcome to another attempt to bring you some content with your untalented host, Flowzam. I just thought I'd share a little bit about my current streaming setup, even though it's not complete. I'll just go through a few of the things that I've got going on, see what you think. I'm using two systems for my configuration. It comprises of a daily driver, which is my main rig, what I do the gaming on, and editing and stuff, and my most recently assembled second PC, which is an X79 platform, like my previous main rig. It's actually using the previous CPU, but I had to get a different motherboard as the last one died. Now, as far as I'm not really finished and completed with the PC, I understand it's a little bit of a shaboozle, a mess, and I still need to get a case as well as a bit more storage, but otherwise it's functional for the most part. This is the second incarnation of the infamous X79 platform, which I dearly love, to which my previous daily was based upon, now supporting perhaps the most coveted of all the X79 boards, the Asus ROG Rampage 4 Extreme. And it is paired with the Xeon E5 1680 V2 CPU. An interesting processor, designated and locked with a multiplier by Intel and listed on their official ARC website as being a locked Xeon processor. The beautiful 8-core 16-thread server-grade silicon that we in fact was unlocked, and it means you can change the multiplier, in which case you can really dial up the overclocks without 4.5 gigahertz. The thing will go toe-to-toe with a Ryzen 1800. For workhorse uses, basically. But in gaming and the likes of, it'll actually go toe-to-toe with the 2700X for frame-to-frame usage, which is what I've got currently in my main rig. I found that the Xeon was a little bit more capable to cope with the single system streaming platform, so when you're streaming on the same system that you're gaming on. Now, for some reason, you'd only see an average of a 15 to 20% loss of FPS while gaming on the Xeon under regular game, sort of modern game titles, without going too extreme in the AAAs. But whilst using the 2700X, you can lose up to 50% of its frames from time to time, and the 1% lows are really terrible, unplayable. Hence why I've opted to rig up an open-air testbed consisting of my beloved X79 platform. Now, part of the rest of the system, we've got the GPU, which in this setup is the AMD Strix RX 590. Great card, looks amazing, stays cool and quiet, and just fits well for the platform. As I'm using software encoding for the CPU, the GPU's only use is strictly to support the video signal. Xeon CPUs, as far as I'm aware, do not come with any integrated GPUs, so you just have to go with GPU, and it just so happens the one that I have is an RX 590. So, plus, should my primary PC become faulty at whatever reason, secondary PC will be obviously able to game on, so keeps you going. Okay, so what else we got? There's 32 gigs of quad channel memory, courtesy of 4 8-gig DIMMs of Corsair Vengeance 1600 MHz, an AIO for the liquid to keep the CPU cool with a 240 radiator, and for the most part it seems to keep the CPU pretty happy. As far as I can tell, it's doing its job. Temps are well under control, never really getting much over 60 degrees, 25 degree ambient temperatures while being stressed. Then of course we've got the primary capture card, which is the Elgato PCIe HD60 Pro capture card to record gameplay from the primary system. And that was a bit of an uneducated purchase. Basically, yes, capable. And whatever that bit rate is that goes along with it, because you can sort of change things. You can go a bit more with your resolution, but then you got to drop down your frame rates and stuff. So I'd say it's a bit rate capping that's really hindering the HD60 Pro's arsenal of having the ability to go as wide, ultra wide sort of screen that I'm running, or higher refresh rates like the 4K 60 Pro. And of course I jumped the opportunity to grab a 3440 by 1440p ultra wide monitor with 144 hertz refresh rate, you know, as soon as I got the opportunity, so kind of blew the acquisition of the HD60 Pro as a silly decision, but you work with what you got. And so I've had to be a bit creative with the scaling of the resolution and the refresh rate of the panel in order to create a regular and almost regular streaming viewing perspective for the viewers. Okay, so what else we got? There is also a Wi-Fi 6 Bluetooth 5.0 PCIe expansion card with a USB Type A and plus Type C 3.2 Gen 2 PCIe expansion card, and that's just basically there for pulling large files down from my video sources and stuff like that. Just makes life so much easier and jobs so much quicker. And all of this is being juiced by an older but very capable and reliable Thermaltake 1200 Tough Power PSU. And as I previously stated, all of this is yet to find a home inside a nice box, although I have decided that of the box of choice will be the Lian Li LANcool 2 Mesh Performance. It's a no-frills non-RGB sort of case, comes with some nice 140mm intake fans and a 120 exhaust fan, but it's really the layout of the box that makes it special. This case in particular is very well built with some great features, including the most notable of all circumstances, an invertible case plate that allows you to mount an eATX motherboard. So where the cable routing would come around the side of the motherboard, you can take that part off, turn it around the other way, and route from around the other side of it. So that way it gives you about this much more extra space in which you can put the eATX motherboard, which is that much wider than a regular one. And although this will easily fit the Rampage eATX, there's a bunch of other great features, and if you're in the market for a case, I recommend you check out the features and check out what the value is towards your proposition, because I think it is very well priced for the amount of awesome features you get. Alright, how are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? We're up and running with the new streaming PC, and we're just in a bit of Call of Duty Warzone. Gonna have a bit of a run around and see. Well, it was 1 for 1 and he bested me. Yeah, so it's now being run through a USB audio interface, just a little dongle that picks up the microphone here and my headset, and then I'm using pedalboard on the on the streaming computer to pass through the HDMI, which is giving a much cleaner signal. Dang, got us again. But the sound's coming through nice and clear, so hopefully as long as it's doing its job, it's going to be a good little way to set things up. It's not as crisp as what would come out of the audio interface from my phosphorite unit, but yeah, it's pretty good overall. So let's see how this goes. I guess we'll leave it there and let's have a check.